Hey everyone, welcome back to Devrai Technologies. This is the continuation of our last video where we are developing ChatGPT like experience for Microsoft Teams bot. Okay, and we have created till here where we are showing a help menu and we are showing some buttons in here. Basically, we're showing this four buttons: with data, without data, clear data, show conversations. If you don't know what these buttons mean, I would suggest you to go and watch our first video to have better clarity on the project that we are currently building. And I added one more button here, configure LLM. Basically, I just added these three lines of code in our help card.json. Basically, this will configure the LLM like setting up temperature, number of documents to be used for answering the chat GPT, or number of messages to be used as historical messages. So all these things can be configured here in this menu. So we created all the buttons, but we haven't configured the data that will be received in the backend. So we need to add one more object over here. This is the object that we'll be using to get the data back in our chatbot. Okay, so let me just configure this. I don't want to show the display text, and here I'll be using configure LLM as the text that will be received in the backend. Similarly, I'll do it for the other ones. All right, so let's run this. And before running this, I want to check if these buttons, when they clicked on, will be received on the backend side. Let's see. So I'll just say hi first. I'll say help. So just to tell you, if these buttons are getting clicked, then we'll be getting this message. For example, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Let's double check that if we are getting the same messages. So I'll click on configure LLM. So I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Okay, if I click on show conversations, I'll have the same message because these texts are coming here in main dialog, but we haven't added a case statement for those texts. So let me add this case statement for configure LLM first. So these will be lower text. I'm just adding this message just to double check and confirm if this is getting received. So if I click on configure LLM again, I'm sorry, I don't have configure LLM capability yet. Okay, so that confirms that we are receiving these messages on our backend, and then from there we can take it forward. All right, so first thing first, we'll not configure the help menu yet. We'll not complete that implementation yet. Instead, I'm gonna start with integrating ChatGPT without data. All right, so Let's continue. So let me go through our code once again. Remember, we are using this same piece of code. It's just that we'll be enhancing a little bit, but we'll be using this exact same piece. Okay, on the default condition, we are going to implement all of these. So let me remove this for now. Let's add these two. So this will let me know that if conversation is new, basically user wants to reset their conversation or start a new one with a new conversation ID. Okay. So if user said new, then I'm gonna pass hi to ChatGPT and respond with whatever the answer we'll get when we pass hi to ChatGPT. We are also setting a Boolean variable if new, setting that as true. Then we'll be receiving all the messages from Cosmos DB where we are storing it. But for now, we are not integrating with Cosmos DB yet. We'll be just getting the ChatGPT response. Okay, so where it is? Here it is. Let's create some files over here. Maybe under services. This I'll name this as OpenAI helper. Okay. Perfect. Next, we are going to integrate Azure OpenAI. We'll be following the documentation for this purpose. Instead of documentation, I would prefer Azure OpenAI NuGet package because NuGet package contains the latest code as compared to the documentation itself. Documentation will be slightly couple of versions back it will be. But NuGet package code with an example, it will be completely latest. So the latest version is 2.10. So let's install this package first. If you want to try latest features of using Azure AI OpenAI, you can go with the pre-release version as well. The pre-release version is 2.20 beta 2, but I would prefer to go with the latest stable version so that it will be staying there with all the properties intact um, for long term. Let's install this package. And along with that, I will also use the best practices like not use the API key for this purpose. I'll be making use of Entra ID authentication for authenticating with this Azure OpenAI service. So let's do that. This was our resource group and I'm going to create a new one that is Azure OpenAI. Let's choose East US2 because it supports a lot of new models which are not supported in other regions. OpenAI. And I think I can use of selected networks. That would make more sense. Or let's use all network for now. We'll come back to infrastructure side later and implement all those networking components later. All right, so once this is getting created, we'll also deploy few models in this resource. Perfect. Let's open the resource and go to Azure AI Foundry, which you can find the link over here on the overview page. And also by the time this is getting completed, let me also add some role assignments so that I can access it using CLI credential. I think let's go with can perform all actions within Azure AI beside managing the resource itself. I think this should be fine. Let's see all the other roles which I can use. Cognitive service lets you create, read, update, delete, manage keys. Okay. What else we have? Cognitive services data. Let's see, read cognitive services data to perform all face APIs. Language writer. Okay, what else we have? Azure OpenAI full access ability to fine tune, deploy, and generate text. Ability to view files, models, readers can't make anything, can inference, and create images. So, readers can't make any changes, they can inference and create images. Perfect. I think this is the role I need. Let's assign it. Perfect. Now, as an administrator, let me deploy a few models. I'll go to deployments, deploy model, base model, and I'm gonna use GPT-4o. Let's try with mini because it's a faster one. Let's try mini. I recently had an interaction with my client. Global standard, it's good, but they are slightly slower compared to the other deployment type. Okay, if I choose data zone standard, what happens? Data so pay per API call will with higher rate limits and data might be processed anywhere within the specified data outside of the year. But data storage remains in the Azures. Okay. What is the standard one? Provision will be the fastest, but they are more costly. Yeah, insufficient quota. Let's try with data zone standard. Let's see how the speed and I can like go with I think 200, 2000 requests per minute and 200k tokens per minute. It's fine. We can use that. Okay. Perfect. They have now added this piece of code where we can implement all this stuff. Let's see if for C Sharp if we have something. Azure AI inference. Oh, perfect. Perfect. It's really cool. Azure AI inference, default Azure credentials. Perfect. OpenAI deployments for a mini. What else we have it here? I think we can try this one. This is good library. If you're working on agents, then I think this is the best one, Azure AI Inference. Okay, stream the output. So this is what I need. Let's use this library instead. Let's try this one. Well, we need to try something new, right? Before trying this, let me double confirm what's the version. Is it beta or is it in pre-release? Okay, it's still in pre-release. Yeah. Latest pre-release 1 beta 3. Instead, let's use OpenAI only. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use this one only. And yeah, let's try this. So Azure OpenAI client, Azure client. So let's go to our bot project, manage NuGet packages. Let's install the same package, that is Azure AI OpenAI. The reason I'll be installing this package in the bot project because I'll be configuring in the dependency injections this particular package. So ask ChatGPT. Yeah, this is how you do it. Perfect. Okay, let's add that. Okay, so you need string endpoint, Azure OpenAI endpoint you need, and Azure OpenAI deployment name you need. Let's add that to Key Vault. Do I need to add in Key Vault or should I go with app config? Because we are not using secret keys over here. So I think for endpoint we can add it in Key Vault. That will be better. So Azure OpenAI endpoint, and this endpoint I'll get it from here. This is a complete endpoint. What I can do, I can just make this as dynamic, the last piece of it, that is GPT-4o mini. So I don't want GPT-4o mini. I can just keep this as endpoint. Text slash plain. Next, I can copy paste this endpoint and go back to app config, configuration explorer, key vault reference. Okay. Perfect. I have Azure OpenAI endpoint. Next one is Azure OpenAI deployment name. This will be GPT 4o mini. Okay. Next, let's update this. So endpoint plus deployment name. Okay. Since I removed that deployment name from endpoint, so I'm gonna append that here. And now what I can do in my, where is that class? OpenAI helper. I can directly call Azure OpenAI client. And also I can directly call chat client. These two are already authenticated. I don't need to authenticate them again inside the constructor. So Azure OpenAI client. So I can just make it standard OpenAI client and chat client. Okay, perfect. Now going back to program.cs, I'm using default Azure credential. No, I need to use Azure CLI credential. Okay, and yeah, that is all here. Now going back to Azure OpenAI, here I can call that particular method. So till here we are done. This also we have done. Now request options. Let's create a new method. Public async stream chat GPT response. And I need, I guess, I need these two, wordful dialog step context, so that where when I get the response directly, I can just pass on to the user. Okay, and request options. Wait a second. Oh, this is not good. Max output tokens. Let's configure. Well, these all will be configurable once we implement that help menu card. Okay, next is temperature, top P, and model. Oh, we don't have any model because we are already using in chat client. Okay, next list chat message. Let's add that. Oops, oh sorry, wrong stream output. I'm gonna use this one. Okay, let's now create. Okay, your helpful assistant. I'm gonna, okay, whatever. Should I pass the question directly or should I take it from the step context? Uh, let's take it from step context. Step context dot activity dot context dot activity dot text. Let's directly take it from the user. What is the next step? Let's directly call it chat client. Okay. Once I have this, I will pass on to the user. So this is how I'm gonna pass await step context dot send activity update part. It's only update part, and let's import this message factory. Okay, is it not a string variable? Ah, better let's go to the NuGet package. Okay, so get chat completion, stream chat messages. This is all done. Content part dot text. It is part of content part dot text dot text. Okay. Now I can just remove this. Perfect. Now I can call this particular method from here. Private read only open AI helper. Okay, let's refer that particular project. Okay, so once that is done, let's pass on await stream chat GPT response. That is all good. Okay, and after that, we're gonna end the dialog, and that is all. Let's go to program.cs and let's add OpenAI helper over here. Let's run this. Okay, let's say hi. Hi will be coming directly from my switch statement where we hard coded this response. Hello, how can I help you today? Next, let's say hey. It is going to give me response line by line. So we have an issue. Most probably it will be authentication, I'm guessing. Let's see. 404, that is not found. Okay. Resource not found. Yeah, this happens. New Azure OpenAI client. Let's see its implementation again. Azure OpenAI client. New endpoint. Okay, I need to change that URI because URI deployment name is not part of that. Key vault. Let's add a new version. First, let's copy this and till here it will be my endpoint. I can also copy it directly from here. This is the one. Let's add a new version. So the code which is mentioned over here did not work for us um, when we were deploying, right, that particular model. So it did not work, this particular code. Hopefully they update that piece of code and then we can try that again. So here endpoint, we have updated it, and provider required service, Azure OpenAI client, and okay, let's run this again. Hi. Okay, still the error. Let's go to okay, this time it's a bad request. The worst part is it doesn't mention what exactly is the bad request. But let's try to put a breakpoint over here and see if it is actually the bad request. Well, we are not utilizing chat completion options, so we can get rid of this or we can use it later. Basically, it comes here. You can pass on the options like this. Request options. Okay, let's try to put a breakpoint. Hopefully something will get it over there. Okay, I think now it's coming something. Ah, okay, I got it. The first chunk will always be blank or null, so I'm gonna put a condition over here. If string dot is null or empty, content continue. Okay, or if it is not null or empty, then only show this. Okay, let's run this again. There you see. Hello, how can I help you? How can I assist you today? Perfect. So it's coming line by line because it's a chunk that is being streamed from ChatGPT, and we are just placing line by line. Okay. So now let's go to our piece of code that we implemented last time. It's exactly the same implementation. OpenAI helper, send ChatGPT response. So this is all we did. The thing is, this was using old library. That was the only change, but most of the part is same. So let's add these properties here. So I need to add them over here. Let's say response builder. Okay, we have done this a lot of time already, so just I'll be copy pasting all the stuff. So if it is null or empty, response builder dot append. Okay, let's use this. Okay, so it will be response builder update part dot text. Next, I need to add this condition. and then I'm checking if the length is greater than 0. Then if it is first time, then we are sending the first chunk. Else, for every 30 chunks, we are sending the batch. So this also can be configurable. As of now, let's make it 50. Okay. And after that, if response length, this is outside for loop here. If response builder, and I'm sending the final message. Okay, let's run this. This we have done numerous times. If you want to learn the logic behind it, you can watch our first video where we implemented this logic. It's basically using the update activity. It's part of the Teams feature where you can update an existing message with a new one. You can delete also, but we are currently using the update activity. So let's say hi. Let's say hey. It's a small message, so it will come. Okay, streaming chat completion update. Okay, we did some mistake over here. Update part dot text. Okay, this will be response builder, not response. Okay. Where else we are using response? Let's see. There also we are using response. It's response builder. Response builder. Perfect. Let's run this again. Hey. Perfect. Tell me a story. Okay, there you see. Write a code for calling API. I'm gonna show you the markdown syntax for coding. It performs really great like this, you can see. Perfect, right? All piece of code here. You can navigate to code, copy paste all this. Perfect. Okay. So since we completed this, in our next video, we are going to try adding the history to it, storing all the messages and then passing to ChatGPT. Currently, we are storing only one message here. Okay. So see you then. Thanks, everyone.